Welcome to the Layman Seminary. Today, Ryan and I were going to be continuing our series on studying basics biblical Greek. Okay, Ryan, we've already prayed before we began. We're trying to make it so that people do not get bored and skip through the videos. So here's our exercise. We're working on prepositions. And what I've done is I bolded the verbs, or at least the ones I saw while I was quickly glancing here, and also bolded the prepositions. Okay, now in other videos I had you do that, and I also we colored the cases. If you can do
Yeah.
it without us having to color the cases, that's fine, but if you think that coloring the cases helps, we'll do that. But I'm just basically seeing how you read this, how you translate, and we'll go from there. Now, you did have opportunity to work on this one by yourself, right?
Yeah. I sent it to you.
And you the main difficulty that you had was with the prepositions, like some of them being of how they are in different cases. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, like it could be three different things depending on the case.
Okay. So it's important to be able to identify the case, but so the difficulty is that you don't have in your mind you don't have it memorized how that preposition functions in the case, right?
And it's easy to get the prepositions confused with the other prepositions. That was why I had a hard time with that.
Okay. Well, let's look at some of these. I don't know if you can see this. I know you can zoom in, but for the people watching, I've made this as large as I can. Uh, Nobody get freaked out by that number 666. That's just how many times the
Yeah.
word
I noticed
dia,
that and I like raised my eye.
the dia occurs in the New Testament, I guess. So, but anyway, in the genitive, it means through. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, is that one easy for you to remember?
Yeah, through and because of.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, if you
And it
forget
was
if you forget what it is, say, man, why can't I get this through my head? What is it? Through. And and if you don't know what it is, just say it's because. Why? Well, because. But of course, if you can remember, eventually, once you start remembering, okay, it can be translated as through or because, then you'll start making the association. Oh, in the genitive, it's through. In the accusative, it's because. Now, of course, when we get into deeper, intermediate Greek and stuff like that, we'll have more categories and more options. But for now, that's what we're working with. So
okay.
genitive through, accusative because. All right.
Yeah.
Now you have kata. Okay.
That one I know.
Okay. You know this one. Genitive against and an accusative according to.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Cool. Now
Uh
meta.
that I know with after throws me off because I remember it being
Well,
with alone.
think of metaphysics. Why Aristotle called it metaphysics? Because if I remember right, it's what he wrote physics, the physics part first, and then he wrote the metaphysics part after that. So after.
Okay.
Try that
Yeah.
out, and somebody might want to verify that, but I've heard that. I haven't uh, read it like that. I've read bits and pieces of this stuff, but not like in its entirety.
Yeah.
Okay,
About and around, I think, is Perry.
yeah. Concerning is one that I use a lot for Perry, but about, because when you say I need to talk to you concerning this matter, I need to talk to you about this matter. You know. Now Hooper, the thing to understand is that in the English, the upsilon comes over as a Y. So this is hyper,
Hyper.
in English. So you see,
Gotcha.
when you're talking about someone being hypersensitive, they're oversensitive or they're above sensitive, all right?
Okay.
But it's also used in the genitive for the word for. Um, and when we're talking about substitution issues later on, this word will come in talking about. See right here, for sins, Christ died
Yeah.
for sins. All right, so there's that one. And this one right here, I can't remember this exactly, but let me try. You have people that are hypoglycemic. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay, that means they have low blood sugar, if I remember right.
Under.
Yes, under. Accusative is under, and genitive is by. Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
that's
got
good.
that confused with two pair a lot.
Now, when we start talking about agency, this will be a whole lot easier to remember because you'll be looking for agency,
Okay.
and they'll help you. Okay, now we have epi. Now, This is
This
pretty
is all
convenient.
pond.
Upon. Yeah, you didn't have to think much upon that, huh? All right, all right. Para. Okay.
You'll notice sometimes if you see me on stage, my fingers are like this. I'm holding it to my side very subtly, but my fingers are like this. This is the Silva technique.
From.
Yeah.
If you.
I always did parallel, like alongside.
Yeah, or parachute.
Yeah.
If we're from, maybe what you might think about. I know it's not spelled the same, but think about how do you say it? A pariah, someone
Yeah.
that's excommunicated or an outcast from things. So you
Yeah.
might make that association, as a mnemonic
Okay.
device. So from,
Yeah.
with, and beside. And there's no guarantee I'm going to remember these either. Did you find this chart helpful?
I remember this chart for mounts.
Yeah, he's got a variation of them. There's a lot of different ones. There's even one with like a cat. It's a variation of one I saw when I was in 6th grade, and I learned prepositions, for English. And it had the cat
Yeah.
on the house and under the house and all that. But yeah, it helps see the spatial relationships. So ace is into, pros with accusative is to or towards,
To or
para
towards.
accusative is beside, kata with the genitive is down. So like katakrino means to judge or to condemn. So to
Yeah.
think down, that may help like that. Hupa
Yeah.
plus accusative is under. Dia with the genitive is through. Appa with the genitive is from. Ek is out of. And then epi is on or upon. And uper's over. And then ana is up. So.
Okay. I think that would help. Yeah, I missed that, I guess.
Yeah, and this right here are just the different forms it takes, because if the section begins with a vowel, it's just going to change ana, and that's ana, but it's just not there,
Yeah.
It's called a liaison. I think that's how you say it, or at least liaison or liaison, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Elisions.
A collision. Okay, yeah. So it sounds like not a collision, a liaison. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So then it mentions about compound verbs, like to read anagnosko means I read, not I know up.
Yeah.
Because we don't, that you could fall into the compound fallacy, like pineapple is not a pine tree and an apple tree, and butterfly is not part butter and fly, that type of
Yeah.
thing.
I have that problem with Latin. Like you'll have like utque, and it's like that and that's not what it means. So yeah,
Okay.
I guess that's the same thing here.
All right. So now this is here if we need it, but we'll start and we'll see how well we do. Okay. So
Okay.
what I want you to do is I want you to read it in Greek, and then tell me what we need to do and translate.
Okay. Agnoske ha methetes parabolein perites basilias.
Okay.
So the apostle read the parables about the kingdom.
I'm not denying that some of the disciples were apostles, but this is the word disciple.
Oh, did I say apostle?
Yeah, I do it too. Don't worry. But just think mathetes is like mathematics,
Yeah.
You got to be disciplined to know math, or, make up your little saying like that. Not saying that's a
Yeah.
meaning of the word, but just
No,
for
I get you.
association. Yeah.
I thought I said disciple.
All right. So do it again.
The disciple read the parables about the kingdom.
Okay. Do you see the there?
No, about a king.
Well,
Read
right
a
here.
parable about the kingdom.
Yeah. We got to pay attention to our articles. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Or concerning the kingdom. That works great. So that's telling you that this peri is with what case? What case is this?
This is, I believe, if it's about, it's genitive, right?
Well, yeah, that's one way to remember it, but also remember here's your article chart. Remember, you get your information
Yeah.
from there.
Case.
And
It's another
stems
ending.
ended in alpha or eta or first declension. First declension is feminine, and then feminine has curves, genitive, So that's an association I've done with some people, and it's helped. But yeah, so that and that's what you think is like, okay, how do I translate this preposition? Well, what's the case next to it,
Yeah.
So all right, next one.
Ek balamen tu panera ek tu oiku. The evil women, we throw the evil women out of the house.
Okay, so you got your we right here embedded in the verb. We
Yep.
throw or are throwing. That's another thing. You can say we throw or you could say we are throwing for the present tense.
Yeah.
I'll go in. I'll start building in syntax as we're going into more complicated things. But so we throw the evil women. You got the women because of this.
Yeah.
Feminine. Okay. From the house. Okay. Ek from separation. From the
Yeah.
house. Yeah, okay. Good.
Laban, I, Agathai, Agatha, Apa, Tu, Pistu, Adelphu,
Okay.
Laban. So this is past tense. I believe this is a form of what's the word I'm thinking of?
Well, you're right. It's past tense because you see the epsilon there, right? And you know the stem. What's the stem for this word? You remember?
Is it Labo? Libo?
Labano,
Laban, oh, Labano.
which means to take or receive.
Yeah,
Now,
that's right.
and also this isn't labano. This is lab, right? So that means
Yeah.
there's a stem change here. Well, so this is that with this and with the stem change, this is indicating a second aorist. Okay. Remember, the first aorist has the saw ending with the augment, with the past time morpheme, if you want to call it that. So that's just reviewing from what we did last time. But you're right. This
Yeah.
is past tense. This is aorist because your two options so far are between the imperfect, which would be past action continuing, and then just simple past with the aorist. Like I
Yeah,
said,
this
we'll
is-
deal with the syntactical categories of these later on, but we're just getting the basics down for now.
Yeah, that I can see it now. I was thinking it was take, so I was right. The good women take take from the faithful brothers.
Okay. Or receive, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're receptive. So you took it as the good women, and you're seeing this right here, and you're saying, okay, this is the adjective modifying this one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I don't see a problem with that. It's interesting though, because this is technically an adjective, but this is a substantival adjective, implying the women, and then you have another adjective here modifying it.
Yeah, that is strange.
Well, let's look real quick.
This is the simple coffee.
The good women received good things from the faithful brothers. Okay, so yeah, and that's why I was pausing. I was like, wait a minute, you got an adjective modifying another adjective. So you got to think, okay, here's your nominative case, right? I think we use green for nominative. All right. So SVO order, we got the good women, then the verb received, and then what did they receive? Well, this is the accusative case. And so that's the good things. I think we used purple last time for that. From the faithful brothers.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. All right. Next.
The brothers said prophetos. Yeah, the brothers said prophetic words according to the truth.
Okay. What is weoi?
Oh, the sons, right.
Right. So you said the sons, there's the nominative case. Here's the genitive associated with it. So what did you say this is?
Prophetic, or the words of prophets.
Yeah, the sons of the prophets.
Okay.
Right? You got that part? Okay. Because that's all right. So this is why the color thing is so helpful, because it causes you to slow down. So you got the sons, then we got of the prophets. So let's color that. Let's make it dark so people can see it. Right? And then this probably is all together as the subject. And then so here's our verb. The sons of the prophets, what is apon?
Said
or speak.
Yeah.
Speak words.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the accusative case. That's a direct object. And then what is this? How do you translate this?
Against the truth.
Okay. And you're right. That is possible if this was the genitive, but this is not the genitive. This is the accusative, because you see the new right there.
Yeah.
Okay. So that rules that out, at least as far as the simplistic way we're doing things right here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Dia
do the next one.
diatain doxon tu kyoryu ekuamen parabolen agathes kai epenes.
Okay,
So
this is a Renes. I know the P.
Apenes.
Yeah, that's a row. I know sometimes I make that mistake. All right. So where do we begin?
First thing we want to do is the subject, right?
Yep.
So the glory of the Lord.
Okay. No. It's not the subject
So
because
doxon tu kyoryu.
do you see the new right there?
Oh yeah.
So what do you do when you see a new?
Accusative.
Yeah. So there's an accusative there. Also, you see it here,
Yeah.
and so this is going to go with this. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. It's not that. Oh, it's embedded.
Okay. All right. So you're saying it's embedded. We'll try that.
Yep.
All right. So what is this word?
This is we heard
All
or
right.
we're hearing.
Yeah. What's the tense?
It's past tense.
Okay.
Imperfect.
Right. Because what's the lexical form of this word?
Akuo.
Right. And this is akuo, which means that the epsilon and the alpha interacted together and then linked into an eta. I probably need to make
Yeah.
this bigger for people. Okay. So, you're saying this is the imperfect? Is that what you're saying?
Yep. Imperfect. No sigma.
All right. So, how would you translate that?
We were hearing.
We were hearing. Okay. So, assuming that the subject is embedded in the verb, all right, what do we put next?
The genitive, tu kyoryu.
What does the genitive go with?
Genitive goes with the subject, right?
Well, it would be difficult if it does because this subject is embedded within this verb.
Okay.
All right.
So
So just think in your mind. You're looking for SVO, not SVU.
subject
That's
or
law and order.
object.
Right. So your
Subject or an
subject
object.
is here, your verb is here. So where's your object?
That is diatain doxon.
Okay, that's a possibility. All right. But
Also parabolen.
right, that's another possibility. And it's closer. So this is probably fronted for emphasis. I mean, I know these are just practice things.
Mickey Mouse. No,
Who's
it's fixed now.
okay? My voice turned to Mickey Mouse.
We got 2 seconds. Yeah.
All right. So this is thrown forward or fronted, but these are just illustrations. I mean, they're not actual scriptures yet. Some of them will be,
Yeah.
but so what I would assume is that your accusative, your direct object, is going to be close to the verb. Okay.
Okay.
So you would say we were hearing. What is this word?
Parables or a parable.
A parable, right? Okay. Now, what is this case here?
That's an adjective.
Okay. What is its case though?
I think this is also accusative, isn't it?
And loving would be an adjective. This is a noun concept, and this is a genitive because your lexical form is agape, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the genitive is indicated by the that, and so you have a
Okay.
kai here, and kai is going to be joining two similar elements, and here rather than a whole sentence, it's joining both of these genitives. So this is a genitive as well.
Okay.
Okay. So we were hearing a parable. Now we got the genitive here. So how would the genitive is modifying a parable. So how would we say this? We were hearing a parable of love and peace. Okay.
Yeah.
Right? That's what you would think. Now here's the trick. Okay. I didn't explain this. See this dia right here?
Yep.
Remember what dia can mean in the accusative?
Yeah.
What?
It's because of, right?
Because, yes. So the word because is indicating a dependent clause. All right.
Yeah.
So let's factor that in too. Go ahead and start translating from right here and forward and see if it makes sense.
Okay. So you want me to start from the beginning?
Yep.
Okay. They were reading a parable
No,
of
no,
love.
start right here where the dia is. Because
Oh,
this dia, I mean, even though it's a preposition, you can almost think of it like a conjunction, you know?
oh yeah.
So like a connector. So it's beginning a dependent clause, basically.
Okay. Because of the glory of the Lord, they were hearing
Nope.
parables of love and peace.
Who's men?
We men.
Yeah.
Because we were right. Because we were hearing.
Uh-huh.
Because we were hearing the glory of the Lord.
Right.
Yeah. Because we were hearing a parable.
So this is a dependent clause. I mean, because of the glory of the Lord, we were hearing a parable of love and peace.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense on its own. So
Yeah.
when you have a preposition that begins a line, you might want to start with it. You might want to think like it. And that's what you initially did because, normally as English readers, we want to start at the beginning and move forward. But
Yeah.
I wanted us to follow the SVO order and then highlight that aspect of things. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So next one.
Diaton graphon ginoskamen ton lomon de tu theu
Okay. Say this one again.
nomen nonon.
Nomon. Yeah. It almost sounded like you said logon, but
No.
nomon. Okay. All right. So what's the first thing you do?
We find the subject, right?
Yep.
I think it's embedded here.
Okay. Next thing you do?
Verb, which is same thing.
Okay. And so what is your verb here?
Ginoskamen. We know.
Yes, we know. Okay. So what's the next thing you do?
We find the genitive.
Nope. SVO.
Subject, verb, object, right? We find the object, which is nomen, and graphon.
Okay. This is you're right. We're gonna use the word accusative object. Okay.
Okay.
Graphone is not. This is a genitive plural.
Oh, right, genitive, because you own it.
Yeah. And this is a genitive also, tu theu.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got all of our information. So let me ask you a question. What does dia mean right here?
This is in the genitive, so this would be through.
Yes, through. But see, he's trying to trick you because he's like, oh well, this is how it was translated here. So let me put this here, and he's basically saying you got to pay attention to the case. Okay. So good, you passed that. All right. So now that you have all your information accounted for, start translating.
Because of the writings,
Nope.
we read.
Nope. You just said this was through.
You're right. Through the writings, we read the law of God.
No, we know.
We know the law of God, right? Skamen is read.
Okay. So the way this thing read was almost like it started with a prepositional phrase and then had the verb in there. So it almost sounds like it wouldn't be because this is the genitive if we're going by the rules that this thing is established. Okay,
Through
good.
the writings, we know
All right.
the law of God.
All right, next one.
A pimpspen. Yeah, no, hold on. A pimpspen. Yeah. Ha theos ombelus eistun cosmon. So ha theos is our subject.
Okay.
A pimpspen is our verb.
Okay. And what
And
can you tell me about this verb?
This is future aorist.
Well, it can't be future aorist because future and aorist are both tenses.
Right. Aorist is
So what?
past.
Here, let's start here. What is the lexical form of this word?
Pimpo.
Yeah, pimpo. Okay. And this is not pimpo, right?
Yeah.
So what happened here?
The sigma hit up against the what's it called, P, and it
Right.
into a P.
Right. And so you're right in the sense that both in the future and in the aorist, that sigma will interact with the letter and make that. Okay.
Yeah,
but we also have this.
Yeah, the epsilon shows
Right.
that this is actually aorist.
Yeah, pastime morpheme. And then this ending lets you know that this is the aorist as well. This is the sin ending. The way I remember it is I seen an aorist. Because all the others are soft. but when you get there, it's sin. Sin aneris. Almost like you're saying I seen. But
Yeah.
okay, cool. So God.
Hold on. Oh,
I-
yeah.
So what? How do you
God,
translate
God
that?
sent
God sent. Okay.
an angel into the world.
Okay. Now, how do you know this is the next word to translate?
Oh no, you're right. I don't think I do.
Well, that's okay. So before you translate, you got to ask yourself, where is the direct object? Where, in other words,
Cosmo.
where is the accusative? Well, you got two of them. You got us, remember that's an accusative because you
Accusative,
accuse it, yeah. And then you also have this one, okay? So God sent, and then you got to pay attention to the ending. How many angels or how many messengers is this?
Angels into the world.
Yeah,
One world,
angels
one
or
thing.
messengers. Yes. God sent angels into the world or God sent messengers into the world. Good. All right. Next.
We got our. I think we got it embedded. Amen.
Okay.
We were
All right.
After. We were in the church after the apostles of good.
Okay. This is second attributive position. See it in the article here like this.
Yeah,
So what this means is the good apostles.
good apostles. Okay.
Right. So we were in the church.
Order number 1 po.
Dito po.
And then what's the meta right here?
This is with the good apostles.
Yes. Right. Okay. So, and see, it's tricky because you're like, man, I just came to a period. What's going on? But you got to remember, there's more information here. Yeah. So good. All right. Next.
Ferusi. Oh wait,
Oh,
Ace told Yeron. Yeah, Ace told Yeron. Ferusi tus hold on. Stratiotas tus paneros. Ferusi. That's we went.
I think this is from Pharaoh, which means to bear, to carry.
Okay, right, Pharaoh. So, paneros. Stratas. Embedded.
Okay. So you're saying the subject is embedded. All
Yep.
right. So what can you tell me about this verb?
This is they carried. Usi.
All right. So you're taking his present tense. Okay.
Yeah.
So they carry or they carried.
They carry.
Okay. All right. So we got our S and our V, but we need our O.
Yep. And I think that I actually know that's tus trotias tus paneros.
So what is this?
All of that is the object accusative.
But is it our only option?
Ace to Yeron is another.
Right, because this is an accusative also. Because of the new ending, right?
Yeah.
Ha eta, potato, tute. Actually, I think this is indicating the nominative, but I can't remember. Your own. We'll check it in a minute. Okay, so they carry
Into the temple the strotias. Is that followers?
soldiers.
Soldiers of evil.
But right, so
Evil
this like
soldiers.
yes, the evil soldiers. Yeah, this is another second. So they carry the evil soldiers into the temple.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go check.
So Greeks had a very Yoda type speech, it seems, the way they wrote. Like
Or
into the temple, they carry.
they
evil
bring the
soldiers.
evil soldiers into the temple. Yeah, bring or carry. So they bring the evil soldiers into the temple. Okay. All right. On to the
All
next one. On to the next one.
Agagon oi neantai tus agathus dulus kai tus vius ton profiton pros tus oikos ton matheton.
All right. You see this connector right here? This chi?
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's breaking two clauses. So we're gonna simplify things, and you're gonna work with this first, and then you're gonna work with that. Okay.
Well, our subject is Ninti.
Okay.
Ninti.
This is neon-ei. Neon-ei.
Ninti. Okay.
You know what this means?
No.
The new, I think it's related to like neophyte. The new
Oh, right. I remember this word. Yeah, initiate, neophyte.
is it in the
Vocabulary. There was so much of it. I did too.
okay, all right. Well, I'm assuming I'm right. I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
All right.
So Ninti, Agagon.
What is this?
This is not aorist, I don't think. Actually, I think it is aorist.
Okay. What makes you think it's aorist?
It does not have the right ending that a verb would have, yet it is one, so there must be some kind of change.
Okay, so you're looking at this on ending, right?
Yeah.
Well, doesn't the imperfect do that as well?
Amen. Enta. Os ace amen enta usi. I don't think so. Not like that.
Okay. So you have an eta here, right?
Yeah.
Earlier we saw that when an epsilon is combined with an alpha, it makes an eta.
Yeah.
So what word do you know from your vocabulary that starts with an alpha? And it has huh?
Ago?
Ago, yeah. What's ago mean?
Oh, lead.
Yeah,
that's lead.
To lead. Yeah, and this would be the past tense. So your question, here's your issue here. Is you're saying it's not a first aorist because there is no saw ending, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is, do you have a stem change? If you do, then it's possible this is a second aorist. But if you don't, then this is your imperfect.
Yeah.
So which one do you think it is?
I think this is second aorist.
Okay. All right. So how will we translate the second aorist?
They did, in this case, led.
Okay.
So the neophytes led the good slaves.
Right. And I think this means baby or youth or something like that.
Oh,
Let me go check because I don't want to keep mispronouncing it. But I know it's related to
servants. Right.
the young men. Yeah. Okay. Neonias.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember now. I couldn't. It's like a Hebrew.
Lads.
Yeah. All right. So we have the young men led
The good servants.
the good servants. Okay. Good. All right. Next part.
And the sons of the prophets through the houses of the disciples.
Okay. Now remember what I said earlier that I assumed this Kai was separating these two things?
Yeah.
Well, you notice there isn't a verb here. Now it's possible, I mean, now I see that there's not, but it's possible there could have been an embedded verb, but there's not one there. So this is where your phrasing can help. So right here, what you see is you have the accusative case again, right?
Yeah.
I'm coloring this for the sake of the people out there. All right. Then you got your genitive.
When the sun is bright,
All right. Now you have a prepositional phrase. So let's see. The young men led the good servants and the sons of the prophet. And you said, what is pros?
I believe it is through the houses of the disciples.
Pros is towards.
Towards.
Okay.
Okay.
If there's a directional concept involved, just think of pros as towards. Okay.
Towards.
Yeah. So the house, and then so this talks about who's being led, and this talks about where they're being led. And so this find this verb here, okay? Because prepositions can have an adjectival relationship or an adverbial relationship, because they're telling you where the action is occurring. So he led them. Where did he lead them? Towards the house of the disciples. So that's an example of phrasing, how that can help you, you know, and also so other people can follow the flow of things. So learning, you know, recognizing your conjunctions or prepositions is going to make you into a better phraser. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
All right. Here you go.
Asin oi wioi anthropon anton hiero. The sun's asin. Is this a form of apen?
Uh, it's the form of a me.
Oh, right. Oh, I'm an Estin Usi. So the sons were being men in the temple.
Well, remember I told you this before that when you see a now this is not a hard and fast rule. In fact, I encountered one in Romans 6 in my class today. But for the most part, look for the genitive to go with that thing that I just mentioned. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
So this
the
will be
sons
this
of men
the sons of men. Yeah. And then,
were
well, this is not word. This is
are being in the temple. Oh,
yeah,
are right.
are
In the
yeah
temple.
are in the temple. Good.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Do this one.
Leges kata tu nomu ala lego logus alethias.
Okay. Now here, this is a good example to focus on the punctuation. You got your period right there, right? You got a comma
Yeah.
right here. So that's telling me to make that break there. Then you see an Allah here, which you know what Allah means?
But at least
Yes.
that's
Right.
yeah,
So
but-
that means that whatever's said here, it's going to be contrasted or possibly negative, positive, or vice versa. But so that's giving you an idea. So you can deal with this first and then deal with this. So start up here.
you spoke against the law.
Okay. Good.
You speak.
Yeah, and you know, my instincts is to say this is you say according to the law, but you're right, it is against because it's the genitive. So good,
Yeah.
you speak against the law, but
I speak the word of truth.
how many
Words of truth.
words of truth? Good, very good. All right,
Okay. 1 second. Apothen ha Jesus uper ton amartheon tu kyoriu.
this is Cosmo.
Cosmo, right? Yeah, Cosmo. Empathen. Is
You know
that
this
based
word?
on? Is that based on Patho?
Yes,
Okay. Patho. No, that's Pempo. I'm thinking of.
patho. Think of like a sociopath. Path meaning empathy, suffering. You know.
Oh, right. Patho suffered. That's right. Yeah. Jesus suffered under the sins of the world.
Okay, you said under. All right. Now, how did you know this is suffered?
We got the epsilon,
Okay.
and we
Past
don't
time
have
morphine.
the, and we don't have the sigma.
Okay. So is it if you don't have the sigma, was there a stem change? Because otherwise, don't you need a saw ending?
Yeah, this is a stem change.
Okay. Or is the saw ending in there somewhere? Because you have the N, right? Could this be sin and the S just dropped out?
No, you're right. It's wrong. Jesus was suffering.
I'm not remembering exactly what it is, but I'm just trying to go through the process that I go through to figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll look in a minute. Now you said how did you translate this?
Under.
Okay. Why did you translate it as under?
We got what's it called? Uper. I know one of them is under.
Right. We would translate this as hyper, right? That would
Yeah,
be
hyper.
but hyper is what? Hyper is above. It's not under.
Right. Hyper.
So when you see this word, you should think of the English hyper, and you're like hyper is above, so it's not under, and that would eliminate that option. So what does this mean?
Jesus was suffering above the sins.
No, this is here. Let me explain what I'm doing. This is not here. Let me see if I can explain it like this.
Right. Uper is above, quite the opposite of under.
Okay, all right.
Upa is under.
Yeah, so you have, let's just do it in English. Hyper Oh, and let me switch. Hyper, right, is above.
Yeah.
Hupo is under, right? I used the example of glycemic. So this would be hypo. Okay. If you can remember this, man, why are you so hyper? That means you're above, what your normal energy level is. And hypo being under, right?
Yep.
So when you come to here, if you'll just take this U and turn it into a Y, what do you have?
Hyper.
Right, which
Oh.
means above, right? So
Yeah.
read this sentence and tell me if that makes sense.
Jesus Christ suffered. It doesn't make sense.
Right, it doesn't make sense. Plus, it's above in the accusative, okay? Right, and under in the accusative for that one. So just remember that the ones that people get confused, both medical terms, they're in the accusative. So what this word means for in the genitive, because this is the genitive right here. This is all genitive actually. So did you see how I walked through that process? Because it's going to take a while for you to remember. Okay, with the genitive it's this, or with the accusative it's this. But if you can think back, okay, it's related to hyper. That means above, and then you think, oh wait a minute, my medical terms are in the accusative form, so it can't be that. But you still were able to eliminate it because it didn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, those are some things you can do until you memorize. And I'm not saying I have it memorized, but going forward now.
Upa, tain, gain, asin, oi necroi. I'll just translate. The dead are under the earth, the ground, etc.
Okay. How many dead are there?
Multiple.
Right. So when the dead ones, I mean, you don't have to say that. You don't have to say that, but I just want you to be recognizing that you have a plural right there. Okay. So you said the dead?
Yeah, the dead ones.
The dead ones, what is this?
Are under the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, earth.
Yeah, earth or ground, that's fine.
They're buried.
Right. And so good. Okay.
Elegen ha apostolos peri ton amartion ton technu. So the apostles said.
Okay. Why did you say this is said?
Epsilon plus. Oh no, we're saying.
Okay.
We're saying to Amartius, we're saying things. I guess I have to insert concerning the sins of the children.
Okay. Let me ask you this question. Why didn't you translate it like this? The apostles, and then add the preposition in this right here. Why did you instinctively know to translate it in that order?
I guess I'm just getting used to the SVO.
Right, but also think about this: when you see a preposition, it's sort of like it's saying, "Hey, I'm a separate unit."
Yeah.
Okay? Right. So there's your nominative, the apostle. Let me make it bold for people. The apostle was saying, and you said you add the word things.
Yeah.
Things about, or actually instead of saying, just change this to speaking. The apostle was speaking about the sins of the children. But see, this is second attributive again, right?
Yeah.
Or so you would say something like the children's sins. You could do that as well.
That's our genitive.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, both of these are nouns. So I mean, you could do it either way. But yeah, so this would be probably an attributive genitive related to that. I think maybe I'm not sure what to call it right now, but yeah. Okay, but you see how that works, right?
Yeah, I think I see how that works.
Okay, all right. So if saying doesn't work, you speak. And you might want to try speak first. All right, let's do the next one.
Pimsen hatheos tous prophetos pra ton apostelon. So God sent, yeah, because the pimsen, the prophets towards the apostles.
Mm-hmm. Now, pra is not the same thing as pros. Okay.
Right, that's first.
So, well, proto is first. Pra is like to or towards. I mean, but it's. Let's see if they make the distinction. Let's see if I can
Yeah,
find
I'm getting confused on that. Pros versus pra.
it. Okay, look right here. Pra in the genitive means before, like a prologue.
Before. Oh yeah, or like
Pros
yeah.
means to or towards. Just remember, they use example prosthesis, but remember John 1. You know,
Yeah.
the word was with God. That's the word pros. Okay, to
Yeah.
towards or with.
To towards or with. Okay, I see.
So pra.
So first, not before. Before,
So
not
pra
first.
means that you're going to the apostles. What was the actual gloss for that? Let's go back to there.
First.
Before. Okay.
Yeah, before. Before.
All right. So let's see if we can work this out here. God
sent, yeah, the prophets before the apostles.
Okay, yeah, good. See, I almost got well, I probably would have got it wrong, yeah, if I didn't slow down. So just remember that pra means before.
Okay. Before, not first, yeah.
Proto.
Amen.
Proto, like prototype, that means first.
Yeah, first type or before type.
Okay.
Okay, we got amen, soon, tois, mathetais, and te eremo. Oh right, I know this one. There the apostles were soon in the desert.
Well, go through your process. What's the first thing you look for?
Disciples. Subject, which is the disciples.
Well, what are you looking? Yeah, you're looking for the subject, but what case does the subject need to be in?
It needs to be in the nom. Yeah, that's not nominative because you got the Yoda
What
coming
case
up.
is this?
This is dative.
Yes, good. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you just rush, I mean that you would jump to what you just said. But if you slow down and go through your process, because like I said, it's going to get way more complicated later on. You know, when we deal with more complex sentences, and if you learn the process now, it'll help you. All right. So where's your subject?
I think our subject's embedded. It's amen.
Okay. And what is amen? Amen.
Amen. Right. Yeah. Amen. Was.
Okay. All right. So this is your imperfect form of to be.
Yeah.
So what does the men indicate?
We.
Okay. So we were.
Yeah. We were soon in the
You know
desert.
what soon is?
Soon is soon is with, right?
Yes. We were with
we were with the disciples
and
in the desert.
Yeah, or wilderness. Good.
Okay, gotcha. Wilderness as opposed to desert.
Oh, it could be either one.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Anti tu missio ekeruxen ha apostolos ha pistos. So our subject is ha apostolos ha pistos.
Good.
And
right.
I guess that means the faithful disciple apostles.
How many?
The faithful apostle. It's just
Okay. All right. Good.
Ekeruxen were preached.
So which one is it? Word preached or preached?
Preached.
Okay. Why do you say it's preached?
We got the kasi to show us that we got that song.
Right. So what's the lexical form of this word?
Keruxo. Keruxo.
Keruso, I think it is.
Keruso, yeah.
And so you're seeing the sin ending right there. And you're seeing the past time morpheme. So no stem change. Okay, good. So the faithful apostle preached. Okay?
Yes, he preached instead of the Messiah.
Okay. Now this is the genitive. What is anti in the genitive?
I thought it was only instead of. So I guess it would be with.
Let's see. Well, I know a couple from my own mind, but let's just see what we got going here.
Okay.
So we got instead of, in place of for.
Oh, in place of.
Right. So this is where the word antichrist comes from.
Okay. Instead of.
So in place of or for. So this is weird because
this is probably for.
Well, yeah, I think he's trying to trick us here because it's like the faithful apostle preached against the Messiah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
It makes sense as a sentence, but how could a faithful apostle preach against the Messiah?
Yeah, it seems a little weird with the tone.
Well,
Definitely.
well, these are examples, and they're not from scripture.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let's go look at that. Let's see if we can see what. Where were we? The faithful apostle preached instead of the Messiah, and that's what you said, right? Originally, instead.
Yes.
Okay, so anti. Where's the case at? All right, so this is what it is. I guess they're saying the primary definition is instead of, but when it's with the genitive, it's in place of or for, and that's where Antichrist comes from. So we come back up here and we look, and it's with the genitive.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean against here, right? In place of, it means instead of. So the apostle is doing the preaching instead of the Messiah. So this is something, a tidbit, is that when we talk about the Antichrist, we always think against Christ, right? Well, the reason that he's against Christ is because he's putting himself in place of Christ. And when you put something in place of Christ, you automatically are against Christ.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. And see, I like using Black's grammar for this purpose, because it gets you reading pretty fast and introduces just what you need to know at this time. Now, there's probably some other grammars out now that I even have that I haven't really cracked into to use, but I wanted to continue using this one. So, any comments or thoughts before we close out?
Just a question, which is what's next?
What's next? Well, personal pronouns.
Personal pronouns. So
Yeah.
right, I think I remember these.
So we'll work it.
Altos, utos.
Yeah, I think Mounts does introduce us a little bit earlier. All right. Well, hopefully this blessed y'all. If you haven't already, subscribe, like this, share this with others, hit the bell if you want notifications, and most of all, keep this ministry in prayer.